Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Master Random, the podcast, episode number 204. And if you listen consistently, you notice the episodes are coming just a little bit slower over the last few months since episode 200. And the reason for that, I've been really focusing on my mental health and my physical health and just trying to figure out things I want to do in my life. I'm actually reaching the 10-year point in my career as an engineer. And so I had planned to spend the next year trying to figure out if I want to continue on with the path that I'm currently taking, or if I want to take a different path, a new path, maybe a much scarier path than what I'm used to. So a lot of different kind of things going on. Plus, work is still going on with my career, so that never goes away. And podcasts, I just took a slight break, and I'm easing myself back into it. And I've been in this routine, as I had mentioned. I'm taking care of my mental health and my physical health, and jiu-jitsu is helping me with that a lot. Over the last 11 months, I've been consistently going to class and forming and shaping and molding my mind. Imagine that. They think that your mind molds when you're a child or when you're a teen, but there's something that happens when you're an adult that you can still allow yourself to mold and transform and be able to evolve. And that's what I'm looking to do is just evolve. And I'm looking to understand jiu-jitsu not only as a sport but also as a lifestyle, and it's changing my mindset about a lot of things and things that I'm capable of, and things that my body is able to endure, and how I can push myself to the absolute limits. And it's been great. So if you ever think about joining jiu-jitsu or taking a class, I recommend doing so. It's not what you think. Jiu-jitsu isn't what you think. It's not bad or scary. It's really life-changing, to say the very, very least. So with all that, with work, trying to figure out what the future is going to look like, with controlling my physical health and my mental health, things kind of got gathered up, put into a routine, and podcasting sort of took a slight backseat. I'm still very much in love with doing podcasts and talking to people, but you got to take care of yourself first, right? And this will always be there. As soon as I upload things onto the internet, it'll always be there forever and ever and ever. Talking to people will always be there. So I know that I can't say never, but I know I won't lose the love for this because I enjoy it so much. It's just that things tend to enter into my life, and you always got to balance and rebalance and maintain balance. So whatever you got going on in your life that's kind of setting you off balance, just take a step back, rebalance, and maintain balance. That being said, this next episode is very great. But before I go and introduce my next guest, I want to go into the sponsorships. This episode is brought to you by Budweiser. They were the official sponsor of episode 200. Episode 200 was a live show that was an incredible experience. Would I do it again? Yes. Would I do it as extravagant as episode 200? No. The only reason why I did it as such is because it was a huge milestone. A lot of different changes to the show and the way it evolved, and I wanted to share that with everybody. And something that was in planning for at least 5 months. So it was cool to share. It was cool to do. So Budweiser, they are an American style lager that has been distributed by Ambrose since 1949 on this island. Did you know that the first shipment of Budweiser was 500 cases to the island that sold out in 2 days? After another 1,500 cases were delivered to Guam, Ambrose became the sole distributor of Budweiser and became the top selling beer on island up to this very day. So go drink yourself a Budweiser. Hang out, kick back, relax, enjoy responsibly, and drink wiser. This episode is also brought to you by one of the newest sponsors, and I'm happy to have these guys on board with sponsoring the podcast. I totally support. Like I said, I'm doing the whole take care of your body, take care of your mind thing, right? So Payless One, they are your one stop for organic and natural products and education. Hence, ONE, one. Organic, natural, education. They are located next to the Dedido Payless. If you don't know where the Dedido Payless is, don't get it mixed up with the Mall Payless. Dedido Payless is a little bit further up, more towards inside the village. Payless One is your dedicated destination for organic food, home, health, and beauty products. The beauty of Payless One is that it takes everything inside a regular Payless, condenses it down into purely organic. Everything that is natural and good for you. And you don't have to go searching for it in the store. You don't have to look for the little tags because every single product is handpicked and hand chosen by the registered dietitian Rose Calvo to put into that store and sold and made available for you. So go shop, learn, and stay healthy at Payless One. They're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, every single day. And they're located next to the Dedido Payless. Don't get it twisted, huh? Don't get it mixed up. Remember, go more towards inside the village and you'll see it. Buy a couple gas stations and some banks. You'll know if you're from Guam, you know when you're inside the village. And now my next guest on the show. I recorded this episode about a month ago, and it was the last of a string of episodes that I recorded at the end of September and slowly released over the last month. And I'm excited to finally release this. One of my friends that I met through my father, and we created this friendship and just being able to share knowledge with this guy and watch his evolution and watch his growth with his company. When I first met him, he was just about to start StrollGuam. Amit Sachdev has evolved into this beast of a businessman. He's been nominated and for not nominated, but chosen as 40 under 40 for people of Guam, and just been able to grow StrollGuam over, I want to say over 10,000, at least 10,000 rides in a year, right? And they've been going for at least 4 years. So you're looking at about 50 to 60 to 70,000 rides provided here on Guam, providing job opportunities for people to create their own time and their own schedules. How amazing is that? Something that, you know, you can scale down and make it for Guam. Amit's been able to do that, and he's further expanding the StrollGuam app capabilities to delivery services, such as food and document delivery and all kinds of other stuff. He shares some of it on the podcast. He shared with me off the record stuff possibly I can't share right now. And he's constantly working, he's constantly hustling. And I hope you enjoy this conversation with my friend Amit Sachdev. Check it out. Welcome back to the show.
I appreciate it,
I
man.
believe
Glad
this is
to be
like
back. Yeah.
number 3, number 4.
Number 3, I think.
Yeah, and I always think back to the first time you came, dude, and we barely even knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we met each other that one time at the hotel at the Point.
Yeah.
And
Man, that's
and then this is before you
that
were
was
like
how long
starting
ago?
Stroll, you know, and my dad was
Okay.
telling me, he's like, yeah, this, you know, this is Ahmed, and you know, he's starting some, you know, a venture up, and I thought it'd be cool if you guys spoke. And so that's sort of how our relationship sort of evolved. And even in then over the years, you've like given me like good advice, things I should chase after. And before we came on, I was just telling you, it's like, just watching you and the growth of Stroll and all that. I've seen you make so many micro movements that if you're looking at it from the outside perspective, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Right. Do you feel that when you're telling people something that you're going to do and they're like, they kind of have
I've
like
gotten used to it, bro. And I've even like what I do now is I'm very selective. And I think that was my problem before it's like I would just spill what's in my head, my thoughts or what strategies I want to implement to people where it just goes over their heads.
Yeah.
Right. And now I look at it like maybe people just won't understand, but it's my job to make people understand. Not necessarily make people understand, but it's for me to have the understanding, right? And if I know what's up, right, and then I can take action on it, then that's really all that matters. And of course, there's going to be certain people like in certain moves that I make, right? So I look at like digital marketing. There's certain people I'm going to tap, like my boy Dev, who's now the CMO of BeatStars. He's someone I look to for that sort of thing, someone I can bounce ideas off of, things like that. And so I hold, it's about like people's opinion, like in certain people, right, that know certain space, right? Like my advice to you on some podcast stuff is nowhere going to be as valuable as Joe Rogan.
Right.
I know that's an extreme, but
for sure,
that's how I see it. And yeah, I know there's things I'm thinking about right now and I see it all coming full circle. And I think that's the craziest part right now is I kind of have like been through like chapter 1, 2. And when I was in chapter 1, I could like barely see chapter 2, but now being in like a chapter 2, like I can really see what 3, 4, and 5 are.
Do you feel like you have more control of the destiny of what 3, 4, and 5 are gonna be rather than what they are?
That, and I look at it and like now what I love the most is I can put people in positions to win. I think that is my ultimate thing right now. Like when we increase staff in Stroll, it amazes me because I can bring people on board, give them certain experiences. I'm going to learn, they're going to bring their value, we're going to bring our value to the table.
Yeah, man, and I feel like you've always been about that too. You mentioned on the last podcast, I believe, that if you can give someone an opportunity to drive for themselves, and then in this driving they want to like sort of while driving they want to offshoot off of something you did, you've helped them sort of create themselves and help push them to be like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, I've always been like that, whether it's in the music industry with like dealing with different producers, DJs, trying to connect artists to certain deals, certain situations, and really everything. Like the guys who are here now, like Scotty, Charles, like I've been known them for a long time, and I've always admired Scotty's work. And I remember meeting him in LA because he was going to school out there for design, while I was going to school for recording school, LA recording school.
Right.
And then like Charles, like I remember when he first picked up the camera, and I was like, man, I'm gonna hire you. And like not many people probably saw his true value, and they maybe didn't he probably had to prove it to some people because they didn't know him as well. But for me, I saw his value from the get-go. And so now it was also like working with him, right? Like understanding like he's gonna learn as he goes along. And I think the thing that amazes me the most is everyone that's been a part of this company has grown in some way.
Right.
Whether it's me, whether it's the staff that's been with me since day one, whether it's someone who's been with us only for like 6 months to a year, I see the growth in them. I see the passion they have. And so it's an amazing feeling to have like an idea. Like I remember when it was in that idea stage, and every time like I just had this trip to the States, and every time I go to LA, every time I go to the Valley, it's like that re-energized feeling again of like, wow, it's a full circle. I'm back here. This is where it all started. Right. Now it's, growing into this. And the stuff we have coming now, and the level we can work at, and really my whole MO on data, it's it's really, I don't want to say unstoppable, but it's pretty close to that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the reaches to expand, or the reaches to expand, the opportunity to expand is so much because no one's attacking the market. You are, you know, and you're creating the one stop shop on the phone for this place. You know.
Yeah, I always saw is this lane
Hey
was
Matt,
wide
can you shut
open.
off those lights over there, dude?
Like I always saw that this lane was wide open. And what's funny is when I first started and we had ride hailing only, I actually wanted to wait and see what who else would come into the marketplace,
Yeah,
and I didn't see anybody come in. And so like it was, I think I had like an Amazon moment, and this is what I mean is, so I've seen like a lot of Jeff Bezos is like, content, and one of the things that I really take from it is, Amazon just only wanted to sell books, right? But what happened was is being a great company is you'll start with one idea, you'll start with a mission statement, like what you're ultimately trying to accomplish, but that can change.
right.
And what changed for them was is, do you know how they found out like what to sell on Amazon?
No.
So they contacted like 1,000, I think it was 1,000, yeah, 1,000 of their like power users, right? Everyone who's buying books like crazy. And they asked them, what would you want us to sell? And they got such a variety of answers. The light bulb came on. We can sell anything and everything. And then
Took off from there.
it took off from there. So with me, I think it's the same thing. Yeah, I saw it as ride hailing, but now I am trying to create a, you know what, not trying. We're creating a super app that's, food delivery is really coming soon. I know the last time I was here, I was talking about it, but
Right,
now
right.
it's really perfecting it to where there's a reward system.
You're
Yeah,
that much closer now.
that and it was a thing of, I had to really sit down with myself and say, like, what in the user experience is shitty with Stroll? Like, what makes it? What would give people a negative feedback, right? And as quick as I did that, that made, it was like a light bulb switch to where, I realized with the food there had to be a POS system, and it had to even be more than that, to where it's not just paying for food, but you're getting even more of that, so that we can, like I want to be able to take the user on a journey on our platform to where you're taking rides, you're ordering food, uh, grocery delivery coming
Use your
soon.
ride that you ordered to go get your food that you also ordered.
Yeah, no, and then what I'm gonna start doing is we have the reward system as well. It'll be similar to like a Grab, you can say, but it'll be more individually user curated. So this is where my data comes in. So I'm on a data chase,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm doing is not reinventing the wheel, but I'm showing people what wheel we're creating,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
But is it going to be disruptive to society, or
And
should it?
every my middle name should be disruptive. Bro. Like that's what I don't like. For me,
But
like
I mean, you don't want to create something that sort of puts society into a mixing pot, and everyone's freaking out, and all of a sudden things sort of go haywire, right?
uh, I mean, it won't be like chaotic. There won't be any chaos, but I mean, what I'm doing is, and like here, I think I better explain it.
Okay.
I can come full circle with this. So like with all these different, like we're about to do like a bill payment soon, so you can pay your power bill, your water bill on this, right? Grocery delivery, we're in talks to like start that up,
Right.
and like all these different services. So like even I'm in talks with I don't want to say the company's name,
Right. Right. You don't
but
have to.
like to do like hotel booking, airline booking. And what I want to do is, someone goes, well, why am I going to come on the Stroll platform and do all that? It's because we have a reward system, and what happens is all the companies in Guam can be on our reward system as merchants. And so we are basically curating rewards for each individual user, because what I used to hate is you know how you get like a promotion or something and it's like a one size fits all and you're like, I'm never going to use this shit.
Right.
Right. So in the end at the end is like, what was the goal of the promotion, right? It was to curate a user's experience, right? And when I say that, it's making user think of different scenarios. So for example, like one thing I'm looking at is like our power users, right? And how I can, start to see their behavior and reverse engineer things amongst that, right? So if I know, like, good example, once we have food and you're a power user and I know you leave work at like 5 p.m., I know you're going to start thinking about dinner. So I'm not going to send you a notification at 5 p.m. No, you just like getting out of work. I'm sending it to you at like 5:30, at 5:40, where now your brain is automatically thinking a dinner time. What am I going to do for dinner? And now you might have, let's say, dinner plans if you're going out to eat, then like with somebody, or you have meet whatever. Then of course we can't really influence that. But if you're trying to decide what to eat, and especially if I knew you had, let's say, tacos 3 times last week, and I give you a little discount on this taco place that's right near you, that I know you go to.
Right.
It's like that. And we also have
Like control what people are gonna want to eat.
no, I can't
What they're gonna
control. I
wanna
can't.
buy.
No.
I mean, you can technically, you
It's
can.
and see that's
Right.
I think that's the misconception with this, and that's what I had to understand too. It's they're not controlling. It's just that they know us better than we do,
Hmm.
right? So put it like this way: like, yeah, I can send out these little notifications and alerts. Will you react to it? It's not 100% turnout rate,
Right.
and it's like different percentages. Like we get it all the time. I have apps all the time. Like, hey, open this now, and you blah blah blah.
For
You could do
sure.
this, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they're doing.
Order this in the next 3
Yeah,
days.
and the reason and the
Right.
timings they send it to you and everything, like it's all data. Like as a travel agency, for example, they know when most people are gonna book an airline flight in the day, and the price point is gonna change because of that, right?
Yeah.
Uber and Lyft, and I even believe Grab, and like something we're starting to look on in the analytics side of things is Uber and Lyft can determine your phone battery percentage with their algorithm and
Oof, that's scary, man.
reverse engineer that to charge you at your price. So for example, if I charge you this little premium of a price and I know your phone's at 2%, I know you're gonna take it because you don't got time to wait. Your phone's gonna die. Then what you gonna do?
Right.
Little things like
Yeah,
that, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And it's all data, and
Yeah, man.
I think
it
it's not scary to
it-
me because it's going to help us. All these companies, what are they doing with the data? They're reverse engineering it to give us what we want.
right. It always brings me back to the Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg
Mm-hmm.
book. He was talking about how Target was able to determine when women were getting pregnant, when they were going to get pregnant based off of the products that they were buying after they got a Target credit card. So you convince people to buy a Target to apply for a Target credit card.
Mm-hmm.
So now everything that you buy, they can track, right? And so if you're all of a sudden buying prenatal vitamins in 1 month, the next month they're going to start sending you coupons for diapers
Mm-hmm.
or strollers or playpens.
I don't think it's a bad thing,
I mean, it's not a bad thing.
but and I think you just have to understand it, and I think it goes back to like previous conversations we have. Like people just hate what they don't understand,
Right, for sure.
right? So, like when I see things like data points and all that, and before it was like I had the understanding, but now being able to like implement it and get the results and seeing like, oh, how I can use this in digital marketing, how I can use this in like the offline branding and how it affects the online branding,
Right.
going to different revenue streams. And like even now, like I've expanded, like, I've always done more than just stroll, but now I'm even getting into I have a big consulting gig that I just locked down. Still in the works with the paperwork and stuff. Like I'll definitely announce it soon, but basically I'm gonna be helping them grow in Asia. So I'm like really happy with that. I've been I'm not really wanting to work for companies, but this was one of the exceptions. And
Sure.
and like, my boy like having like a high title there now too is it even makes it like crazier. And even other opportunities I've gotten like in this past trip in unexpected stop in SF where I might be or looking to create a similar system like this, but for old school Rolls Royce uh limo service
Hmm.
in SF Napa Valley, you know. So creating the tech for them, uh, even like they're trying to do like a cable car in Napa Valley, right, and things like that. And different wineries, they want me to set up the tech to hop on board like tickets, like promotions,
Right.
things like that. And yeah, just expanding into consulting and like brokering deals because I feel like one of my strengths, and I'm not saying this to boast, but I think one of my strengths is that I can connect people and that I know how to have a conversation with all different types of people and understanding the different environment, right? So the conversations I would have like in a studio session would definitely be different than a boardroom meeting,
Right.
right? And I so being able to maneuver in all these situations, and it's always like I'll meet someone with the idea or they have something and I know like someone else who can make use of it, and merging those business deals and seeing people be satisfied and win, and I can help consult on things. So I'm just happy that I can bring that value to the table. And I always now like I'm always reading, I'm always listening to audiobooks, I'm always listening to different tracks. Like I'm on it. Like
Yeah.
that's just how I feel right now. And me approaching, like I was kind of going through a little, not phase, but a little thing of like, oh, I'm about to be 30 in December. Okay, like the whole maybe I need to not like settle down, but like start thinking towards that, and like that thought process went out the window a long time ago. It's like
As soon as you thought about it.
yeah, and it you know what it is? I
It's
think
like going to a big city and like, fuck, I should live here. And like, I don't want to live here. Fuck it.
yeah, it's not like that. It's more of like, you know what? When I don't have that feeling to do that. Like I can't force that, right? I think some things in life you can't curate,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of them. But now with Facebook, with their dating shit, that shit's about to be next level.
Mm.
People have no idea. Think about it this way: Tinder, Bumble, all these different apps, right, in that same space. They're taking like the littlest amount of Facebook information that Facebook gives them to create matches. Now, Facebook, which is connected with Instagram, is in this space, and the way they can curate because they know so much about you.
Right. I think I watched a documentary. It's about 5,000 data points, and
Their accuracy is gonna be
by
so crazy,
by
bro.
2030, it's gonna be like up to like 10,000 or 20,000 data points that people have on you. I mean, it's how they got the Cambridge Analytica whole the whole situation with them, and how they were collecting data on people and being able to sway people to vote certain ways, right?
I mean that shit was crazy. Don't get me wrong, but it's I think the internet is kind of like this is why the Matrix, that movie, bro, that shit is so true to what's happening. And the way I took that movie, and like I see it now, like every time I rewatch it, I'm just like, wow, this is like we're all cyborgs. This phone is the machine we're connected to, even subconsciously, bro. Subconsciously, like for me, like I always have had my phone on vibrate. Even when I think my phone vibrates and it hasn't,
Yeah.
that's a syndrome,
Right. Right.
and that's crazy. That like my body is so used. You get what I'm saying? We're subconsciously connected
Right.
already. And I think with the blue pill, red pill sort of deal was like, hey, this thing is damn powerful. You can do real good with this, and you can do real evil with this. You take your pick.
Right.
Some might do, and then like that balance of it, right? Not everyone is on the other extremes,
Well,
right?
well, the red blue pill, right? Was it's either you take this pill and things will happen like you were never here before.
Mm-hmm.
Like they wanna deneuralize you, right? MIB. But and then the other one is like knowing the truth, right? And I guess the whole thing with the Matrix was that they had to keep killing society
Yeah.
in order to build society back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were like on their 12th iteration of society, and these machines were looking for the last of the people. But yeah, man, I mean, we could think of it like that, but man, I think when it comes to tech, I don't think that we'll be able to reset so easily. If all this was to go away tomorrow, we're done. We're finished.
And that's why it's not going away ever. Because this is just getting started, man. Like the things like I've been like tapping into, and like with the phone and like the other data points it can get, it's crazy, man. Like I'm actually, you know how a lot of people are into voice, right? And trying to hack that.
Yeah.
What I'm waiting for, and I know it's gonna come out soon, is there's gonna be a sensor on this phone. And what it's gonna sense is body movement. Now, somebody will ask, why is that important? Well, now you'll get real time reaction instead of like a review. Right now, to find out if someone likes something, doesn't like something, it's by a review, right? And whether it's true or not, you don't know. How do we base what's true? Is the amount of reviews that have that opinion, right? So if it has 20 good opinions, it's pretty good as opposed to having 3 good opinions, right?
Right.
But with this, with the motion, what I see is
So they're measuring body temperature,
no body movement.
as in
I'll give you a good example.
like how you
react.
people tense up.
How you react. Not even tense up. It's like, I'll give you a good example. Let's say, for music, like Spotify, maybe they'll even take this from me, but I've thought about this. If they can see how you're truly reacting, because now with music, right, you have your phone with you. So if you really like a song and you're nodding your head hard, this thing will know. And then me, as someone who's reverse engineering it to give you what you want, this is how people reacted to this song. And how do I know? Because their movement went up and this song is upbeat. Okay, another way, this song is a little bit more sentimental, sad. So people are not moving as much.
Right.
So see, based on that movement data point, we can reverse engineer that.
But what if they're running?
Oh, even better. Okay, we know this track they like to listen to while they run. Okay, well, how many people listen to this track while they run? Reverse engineer that. Okay, if they do it while they run, then maybe while they're in a stroll, they'll probably want to listen to this when they commute, right? So it fits like that mold. All these little data points, man, they matter.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool if you can connect Guam in that way, right? To where everything, Stroll becomes a one-stop shop, but it makes people flow better here. I mean, I feel like with the data points that you have with your drivers and the routes that they take, you can create a solid public transportation system here. And
that's something definitely in the works, man. Like the plan I have for that is like we actually just got our airport pickup and drop off point. And I have an advertising platform too with like Lamont, which is address. So I mean, I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but I might as well at this point. Is I have what do Facebook and Instagram do with data? What do they use it for? The advertising platform, right? That's what I'm doing too.
So as soon as they jump in a stroll, the address will know that they're in there and play ads according to the thing.
Well, the address wouldn't need to know. We'll just need to know, and then we can just curate every piece of content you see, like to the T, where it's not scary, like not like scary, like, oh, I know everything about you. I know exactly where you're going today.
Shit, I was literally just thinking about that in the plane.
Yeah, nothing like that. But
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want us to get to that, but I know we have the capability.
It's super capable.
We would just have to gather up some other data points. But I just want to make it to where I'm really big on curating user behavior. I've been studying this for the past 6 months heavy, and it's really what
Just pull the mic down to you.
it's just really what is needed is individual user curation, and it's based on your lifestyle, based on doubling down like what's on you. And I think people now are even as more like self-aware, and even as so much is based on the individual. And I always compare it to music, where before it was really the experience was a group experience with music,
Yeah.
and now you have so many individual experiences with music, right? And I look at it the same with like transportation. I look at it the same with even like at a marketing standpoint, like the way you're receptive to certain things, right? Group receptiveness as opposed to like individual receptiveness.
For sure.
Right? You have that, and yeah, I think it just all goes back to
Yeah, man,
data.
that'll be killer if a stroll knows that you're coming in a group. You know, picking up a few of you guys, and all of a sudden everything sort of connects in that way, and
The difference
they
too.
exactly like, oh shit, we should go here instead.
Mhm.
You know, or
Yeah, and
fuck, dude, you just blew my mind right there.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And so like not only with the ads, but like of course we'll have rewards for the users, but what I'm doing too is we're gonna have rewards for the drivers. So we're also curating to their user behavior to where like I want to be able to do things like this, bro. And like such a simple example, but it's so effective in my opinion. Like what I want to be able to do is, let's say we have a driver and he picks up his daughter from school at, I don't know what time school ends, what, 2:30?
Beats me.
Whatever,
Dude, I don't
okay.
pick up kids.
Yeah, whatever time school ends, right?
Ask me
And
like in 10 years.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then okay, you know what? And you know what? There's an ice cream place right near it.
Yeah.
So what I want to be able to do as a reward is, and like curating it is, hey, I'm gonna give you a discount to get two cones of ice cream at this place, right? And so now I'm also understanding his behavior. Okay, like he can take his daughter here.
Right.
You know, they can have like that nice outing, like little things like that.
For
And like
sure.
what I'm able to unlock with that connection to the company, right? Even as a user, you know, like helping people out, figuring out even payment patterns, right? And what I mean by payment pattern is if I can ultimately figure out like bill payment, right, when it comes to power bill, water bill, telecom bill, and reverse engineer that to help people, to where I can tell telecom companies, yo, you can actually charge it this time of the month. It's more effective, and it will actually help people better.
For sure.
You know,
GovGuam paydays on this day. Maybe make the due date on this day.
no, there's little things like that.
Right.
Good example too. A data point that I'm very curious to see is how many people actually pay their power bill and water bill at the same time. Like I would think it's a very high number, but how high? Are we talking 80% high? Are we talking 60%? Or is it not high? Is it like a 30%, right? Where someone maybe pays their power bill one day,
Right.
a couple days go by, or a week, two, whatever, and then they pay their water bill, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all of that information, I'm so curious because I think this.
Well, it is a one-stop shop right now, right?
No, see, it's a
Right.
one stop. Definitely, you can make payment at the same time,
Right.
but
How
we're
many
not
people
really
are-
seeing users' behavior, right?
Right,
Because
right.
when I like, I'm that kind of guy now, bro. When I go places, I'm not like observing people, but I'm observing people, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing like, okay, when I come to pay my bill at this time, how many people are in line, as opposed to this time in the month, right? And just seeing, okay, why do people do this? Okay, if we made a subscription thing or something like a pay later
Right.
system, when would we want people to pay later?
Right.
Right? And if we can base it off that right, I think it's killer, bro. It's just data. And like all the people, like it's kind of crazy. All the people who I've been like really connected to in life, they're all in this data shit. Like my boy is like the VP of Credit Suisse. He makes the algos for them. So that's data shit.
Mm-hmm.
My other boy, Dev, he's the CMO of BeatStars now. Like the way that guy knows how to organically scale and grow brands, artist following, produce whatever online is superb. right? And so like I just realized the people I've really connected with, we all have this same thinking. And then I think with me, I don't have that just straight, like I don't want to, lack of a better term, like nerdy, just straight numbers thinking. It's like I have that creative edge as well, where like, so I know how to like talk to people, flow of a conversation, really understand, you know, what makes people go, what makes people not go.
Right.
And so I just try to reverse engineer all of that
Constantly.
constantly. And it's not even like a conscious thing, it's like a subconscious thing. And it's not like I'm, oh, I looked at that and this person bought this. It's like I'm just, observing. Oh, I'm at the store, you know. Oh, what's this person buying in front of me? Oh, they're just getting that. Okay, cool. It's like that.
Yeah, sort of trying to see how even you can make things more efficient. Yeah.
It's kind of like it's a thing of like all the answers are around us if you just look.
Yeah, it's easy to get blinded by everything that's going on.
I think you know what it is. I think it's just that understanding, bro. And like I had an understanding that if I want this shit, like how bad do I want it?
Yeah, I mean, look at it.
And
Look
that's all it is.
Look how available the information is.
No,
I'm sure it's just as available to everyone else.
No,
as it
bro,
is,
that
you know,
is what I love, is that I research, I can find this info, and I can reverse engineer it. And the best part is anybody can do this.
right?
And like that's why when I actually got to see Gary Vee when I was in New York,
Nice.
I went to a digital marketing agency conference and he spoke there. And like one thing I love that he said, and it's so true, he's like, you know what? 75% of you motherfuckers in this room ain't gonna do what I'm telling you right now.
Right.
And it's so crazy because it's so true, right? People are showing up trying to get like his insight, his advice.
Right.
And it's like he's telling you, and like still 75% of people are not gonna
Well,
do
people don't realize that he's of the extreme. He's the extreme of what it is to be an entrepreneur, right? Anything he sees, he attacks, and he's been
been
doing
I don't
that
think
since
it's like
the 90s.
I think it's like extreme, but it's actually not. I'll
no,
tell
it's
you.
pretty extreme.
No, bro. I'll tell. No, it's not. I'll tell you why. Once you get things down to the simplistic view, it changes. You realize like all those other things are like so fucking micro.
Right, but finding the thing to get you to understand that to where things seem micro is probably the hardest thing, right? Because you can get super discouraged by not getting maybe enough attention that you wanted, right? People not liking your posts as much as you wanted, right? Or people not being attracted to the product that you're putting out. And that can be detrimental to someone's mindset about the thing that they were doing. But as soon as you find success, I mean, here, let me ask you this. Do you attribute your understanding and capability of moving forward and progressing forward to the success of Stroll? And did you feel the same way when you first started Stroll?
Somewhat. I think I've always had that in me. I think now it's just at a level that's out of here.
Right.
And I think it took time. I think it takes that roller coaster feeling where, like with me, I know what it takes to, get like trying to get a law lobbied for you. I know what it takes to, have a business license, like create a business license, create your own industry. So I think after I've gone through that, it's kind of like any fire that I have to deal with now. It's nothing.
For sure.
And then I think that's just what it is. You just come to a point where you know how to finesse any situation. And once you get to that, and like all these micros, like for example, like for me, simple saying is get shit done. Now, easy, simple. Now, what it will take to get shit done, that may be an unknown, but you still get shit done, right? And I think it's the mindset too of, and I tell people, I've actually, one thing I like about Stroll is the people that I've seen the growth is I can see the difference in their behavior, and how it's like positively affected their life.
For sure, man. I mean, because you believe in it, right? I mean, over the years, you've come to believe in in this and what you're doing, and when you bring it to the level of Gary Vee, he's like, yeah, I believe it because it's been working for me since the '90s. You know, since he was selling wine, and he's able to sell that idea that he was doing. That's the only reason why I say, like, for him, that's just for any of us to be to come close
I think
to
you have to
doing
be.
what he's
I
doing.
think you just have to be, and this is always where I sound like
Maybe there's a
big.
Chinese
No,
version of Gary Vee somewhere.
no,
I mean, Jack Ma, maybe,
yeah,
right?
no. Maybe there's, I could say this at the extreme level like a Gary Vee, but I think what's real nowadays is people need to know the harsh reality. Because if you have all this fluff, you're literally, it's like participation trophies, right? It's You're creating this facade. And so like when you believe in the facade and then when you find out that's not really reality, that's when shit hits the fan.
Right.
Is because you're like, wow, it was supposed to be like this, right? And that goes back to like expectation where like I don't expect anybody to do what I do. I don't. But like if you like for me, I work 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Shit, sometimes 14. I've gone to that, right? Because I know what I'm trying to do. But I also have to know when to not chill, but to like go from, sixth gear back to gear one, right?
Right.
Know how to balance things out, and so it's like you have to just be an all-star every day, bro. And it's not the, oh, every day is gonna be perfect. It's like, oh, you could throw whatever fireball at me, and like I'm gonna matrix dodge that shit every time.
Right.
You can throw it at whatever angle you want, and I'm gonna learn. That's the thing, is I've accepted that I need to always get better. Like me to read on things, learn from people, ask questions, right? If I need to make a certain connection, make that phone call. I think you just have to be a practitioner of like what you believe. And now that I have that experience with Stroll and I see the opportunities I'm getting, the confidence people have in me and what I say, and I think they recognize the value
For sure. For
also
sure,
that
man.
I bring to the table. And
You've created that credibility for yourself, right?
you
In
could
that respect.
you could say that, and I think that's the thing is, I was thinking about it the other day. Is in school they teach you show and tell, but in life it's show and prove.
Hmm. Yeah.
Show me, but prove it.
Right.
Right. School is
see it.
School is
and
show and tell, right?
What does it do?
This school is, hey, this is what this is, and let me tell you all about it. Where in life it's like, hey, I got this great idea. Okay, prove it.
Yeah.
Prove that it's great. And I think in the world we live in, with the instant gratification, I think it goes back to like, I don't want to sound like Gary Vee, but I think it's true. It's like the way parenting is. And like, I think with me, I've never had a thing in life where I felt like, damn, I can't do that. Never.
Hmm.
Like, I never had like oh, I want to do this, but I can't.
Right.
I've always had, oh, I want to do this. What is it going to take? Then I can make the decision if I want to pursue it or not. And I don't know where that comes from, but it's not like overconfidence, but it's just having that self-awareness and knowing like, hey, if I want, like with music, I knew like my goal back then was like I need to be a platinum producer, right? So when I was 12, I had the whole timeline in my head. I was like, okay, let me get these turntables. I'm going to learn this for the next 2 years, 3 years. Then I'm going to move on to production. And by that time, I even saw how it was going into that digital front. I was like, everything is going to be more accessible to me. I can start buying more of this equipment online. And as soon as like the DAWs, like the digital audio workstations, get, that superb engine with the audio card and all that, it's over. And once I saw that, and I just kept building on it, building on it, building on it, building on it, building on it. And it started from selling CDs at school burning CDs to, you know what, I want to DJ. Okay, from there I want to produce. Oh, I want to engineer. Oh, I want to learn how to do marketing. Or I want to learn how to do merchandising around this. So it's like I threw myself in it, right? How much I threw myself in it, that some of it was a little bit, some of it was a lot, but it's like I can say like I know how that works
Right.
firsthand.
Shit, dude, I was working at a funeral home.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
No, but see, I'm sure there are things there you learn from your parents, just like me. When I worked in my dad's like store,
Yeah.
when I learned from my mom, my dad, like this is how we run. You know what's crazy? People think, oh, what I learned from my parents is everything that they do, whether good or bad. No, you have to be smart enough to know, okay, that's the good shit my parents did. And then like maybe this other stuff, like maybe I won't go that route. Like that's how you gotta look at it.
Well, that's what adulting is, right? It's realizing all the shit that your parents taught you may not be right. Right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to
or it's not even right. I think it's just like the progressive nature of the times, right? Like what they lived in and what we live in is like totally different. Like 20 years ago, if like I was on my phone like the way I'm on now, people would think I'm psycho. Right?
Right.
Now it's so norm. Now it's like if you're sitting somewhere and you're not messing with your phone after a amount of time, people be like, so
yeah, so what are you looking around for?
Right? Do you have a life? No one to communicate with?
What's up with your thumbs?
Any, like websites you want to look at, YouTube videos?
Those thumbs there, twiddling them. No one twiddles their thumbs anymore.
You know I tell people, it's like I don't go on IG every day and it blows some people's brains. Like, how? Why not? I'm like, because I'm watching what you're doing. And then like I go on like every 2 days. Like I might look at it briefly, but I might not like anything. Like I just think we live in a crazy time, but if you know how to finesse this and you get that light bulb, it's I don't know how to explain the feeling.
People get the misconception that that social media is gonna take them places if they do it right. I mean,
yeah, it will take you places,
but the percentages are extremely low.
No, I think you know what it is. It's kind of like taking it back to the music industry. Any artist I work with, and like I'm really getting back into it too, and I'm actually really helping this one girl that I pretty much have like known my whole life, been super cool, all that. So like getting back into it, and I always say, it's just what the artist brings to the table, and it's like when you say like you want to make it, what does that mean?
Right?
Is it going platinum? Is it being able to maintain a certain lifestyle from a certain income from streams? Is it being able to say you had a national tour? Is it able to say you had an international tour? Is it getting X amount of views on your music video on YouTube? Like, what is it, right? So I think that's the difference. Now, to be the 1% of it, yeah, very difficult.
Right.
But to be in the 20th percentile or the 40th, I don't think it's that difficult, bro.
Well, you'll be able to touch it every once in a while, right? I mean, you can have a video. Say you put out a video and it gets 5 million views, right? The chances of your next video hitting that mark becomes lower and lower and lower.
It's just about how much you put into it, bro. I'll tell you right now, if I feel like I want to get into like travel blogging for whatever reason, like I will be the best fucking travel blogger.
You should.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just like that mentality. How much people are gonna put in? There's travel bloggers who help put in a lot. There's people who put in like not just the editing and that side aspect of it, but like the offline, like different connections to different airlines, hotels, right? Different places, companies that want to like use you as an influencer. And so being able to hack that, and it's you know what it is? People just say, oh, all I thought they did was this. I'm not getting the same results, because it's like everyone's so used to surface level, bro. And it's like, I actually love it. I don't hate on it, because, people like me can come in and do what we do to the fullest.
And eat their feet.
Yeah, no, if it's a
From
kind of
underwater.
no, it's like a kind of thing like, hey, if you want to walk around blindfolded and I'm not blindfolded, man,
Right.
I'm gonna know a lot.
Right.
That's just how I look at it.
For sure, man. I mean, I can see how you have evolved in the sense that it seems like you stand outside the space now. You know.
Yeah, I you know what, subconsciously, I don't do it purposely, but I've always liked having a level of mysteriousness. And it's actually funny. The other day, forget, I don't want to like say like the restaurant's name or whatever. It's not a bad thing at all against them, nothing like that. But just don't want to say the name. But while I was at the checkout, and like I usually go there, and the cashier, she was like, I always see you around here, and you're like mysterious, but like, so like, what do you do? Like, I can't figure you out, and like I get that a lot, and I've realized that that's like the drawing factor,
Hmm.
right? And I think a lot of people are missing that, is with social media, it's knowing how to finesse that. Like, I'll give you a good example. Like, Drake's not gonna post a picture every day, but when he posts a picture, it has an effect,
Yeah.
right? So that's like the kind of similar thing I'm on, where it's like I am accessible, but I'm not at the same time. I gotta have to create that feel, because I need to keep people on their toes, where they don't know everything about me. They don't know what's going on.
Don't listen to this podcast or the last 3 episodes.
Like, no, I mean, like on a detailed, like individual basis.
I'm just joking.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
know what I
joking.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think people are.
I think 90% of the things we talked about on the podcast, it's not even compared to the stuff that we talk about offline. You know.
Yeah.
So
Even with me, like I said, I'll drop knowledge, and now I look at it like 25% is gonna be taken in. I'm cool with that.
yeah, for sure.
Because I think, yeah, it's just understanding user behavior, understanding people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And like when you see the bad and the ugly, reverse engineering what's creating that to create good.
Right.
And then once we can create good, then we create great. And then after great, we can create exceptional.
Right. It's like the public transportation thing. Once you can figure out
Oh man,
the way people, I mean, just because traffic is so bad here, right?
see. The thing is, I just have to.
Why is it like Hawaii traffic?
See, it's what I'm trying to do is reverse engineer a whole driving culture that's been this driving culture for the past 40 years plus.
Right.
And so it takes time, but I think something I have coming up soon in the works, I think it'll solve that problem.
But I think you'd have to tap into not only user behavior but human behavior in general, right?
Users are human, bro.
Yeah, I know, but there's a there's a line too, right? Because
user behavior exposes human behavior.
Human behavior, yeah, that's very true.
You know what it's like? It's kind of like the principle of something versus like what really happened.
Right, but not all human behavior is on a user base, right?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if you're thinking of the mass public, of the general public, how many people do you think is online on Guam?
Everybody.
Not everybody.
Everybody, bro.
I don't think everybody.
Everybody, bro. You know why?
I think more than 60%, but I don't. I would think.
You know when you're paying your bills, even in person, where is it going into? It's going to an online database about you.
I know, but it's also. I guess you're right. Yeah.
It might not be at the level of this.
Of using a phone every day.
You don't need to. There's enough people using a phone to make conscious decisions. If I have 96 people out of 100 using a phone, I'll still be able to make a conscious decision as if it was 100 people. 4 people don't have to use it.
Right.
And they're outliers. They're extremes, right? Just like you'll have the extreme of, like, good question. What do you think my screen time is? I always ask people this. I always get different answers. So I just want to ask you.
A day?
Yeah, a day.
5 hours?
I wish. 7 to 8 hours.
It's a lot.
So I realized supposedly
mine's about 5 hours.
So supposedly 1/3 I'm supposed to be sleeping, right? 8 hours.
Right.
So 1/3 phone, 1/3 sleep, 1/3 life,
Right.
right? And so if I'm using that, I'm not even the extreme. Maybe a medium extreme, but imagine people on that 12 hours,
Right.
right? And yeah, man, I just look at it. We have all the data
Unless you're a
points.
cam girl
No, bro,
and you're on there 24 hours, right,
yeah.
Matt? Ding, ding.
Yeah. That's what I think. You're connected no matter what. Put it like this way.
All right.
That's
Point taken. Yeah,
like
I like that. I like that. I mean, I was even trying to attack, like people who can't afford phones. But you're right. You pay a bill. You own something that logs your name into some sort of database.
you go on
You're there.
you go on a flight, okay? Like United, they make you go into that, scan your passport, your confirmation code. Why would they do that? Okay? Instead of, how but they have someone there. Why? That thing is collecting so many data points. How many people come to how long before the flight?
Mm-hmm.
How many people come 2 hours before? How many people come late?
Yeah. How many people stand in the one line?
How long does it
the
take?
3 line.
How long does it take for this user at this age to use the machine? Oh, how can we curate it for this age? Like when it scans, oh, I know it's in this age demographic. Let me make this setting a little longer for them to read. Let me make the font a little bigger. All these little things, man.
Mm.
So you're coming across it whether you like it or not.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, bro. It's too late. If someone is like, oh, I want to be digitally shut off completely,
Well, I'm fucked. Well,
you can't. Like
I'm all over the internet.
you can't, and I don't even think I don't even think it's smart, in my opinion. It's like if we know this is the world it's like, are you gonna fight the wave or are you gonna ride the wave? I'd rather ride the wave.
Why purposely get left behind or run over by the train, right?
Yeah, like you're gonna if I just think, when people are like, oh, I don't use my phone like that. I mean, that's cool, but it's also sort of thing of like, I'm gonna find out shit that you don't know, because it's how I look at it is it's such a powerful tool, and like you can really make it what you want to make of it. Like you want to fuck around all day, you can definitely fuck around all day.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be effective all day, you can be effective all day. So I think that's what I love about it is that everyone has the choice, and if you get the light bulb, you get the light bulb. You don't, well,
Oh well.
yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Just like I think not everybody's an entrepreneur,
Right.
right? I don't expect people to do this. Just like for me, it's very it would I have nothing against people working 9 to 5, but for me, it would be very difficult because I'd be the type of guy to be like, hey, can I stay till like 9 p.m. and then come in a little later tomorrow? And you can't do that shit, right? That's like how I like to work is, I might go to the office at 7 a.m. I might go in at 10 a.m. But I'm still going to put in 10 hours of work regardless. And it might not look like work to you. There's different levels of work for me, whether it's sitting down at the desk doing the paperwork, whether it's making certain phone calls, messages, emails. Like I was telling Charles like earlier, I was like, yeah, tomorrow I have 5 meetings. And that's normal. So now, and like, that's just, you know what I mean? I love what I do and it is what it is. I'm not like, oh, I'm tired. And how I look at it now is like, what else are you going to do? Exactly what you wanted. You've curated your environment to where you can execute all these plays and where these opportunities are going to come in and I can execute on that and then really build like this digital real estate and just how I look at myself is a global citizen now, bro, that I'm everywhere. I can be anywhere now. Take a flight, be there digitally, offline to make the move, to make the play. It can be done. I don't look at it like, oh man, this isn't something in New York. I'm here. So, well, what that mean? I can connect digitally. It's 2 flights away. It's like that sort of thing. It goes back to the make it happen.
Right.
Whatever it's gonna take. Shit, I can't do it today, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do it by the week. I'm gonna do it by the month. I'm gonna do it by the 6 month, year, whatever. Like it's just that mentality. Like, and and knowing like I'm always gonna get better, get better, get better. And then when you double down, it's like you just see this exponential growth in yourself. I don't know how to explain it, bro,
No, you're explaining it well, dude. I mean,
but it's like once you like tap in, it's like how I compare myself or compare.
dude, honestly, I see the growth. I've seen the growth in you. I mean, just like I said, through the progression of the different podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the way our conversation itself has just evolved,
Yeah,
right? Your mindset is so much bigger than it was when we first talked. It was so focused on Stroll, on what you plan on doing it and what you wanted to,
because I think it was a
how you
proving
wanted,
ground.
right,
Yeah,
right. And now you can see what it's done over the last 4 years.
mm-hmm.
You've been doing it.
Yeah. So I
4 years.
started building it out like wow, actually October 2015. So 4 years will
Yeah.
coming right up. And then it launched July 2016. And now we have over like 70,000 rides. And like getting into all these different things and the revenue streams we've created for drivers and like the amount of money, they've been able to make. Like we have drivers who make $1,000 a week, use this as their sole income. We have weekend warriors. So yeah, it's just amazing. I think it's also created confidence to believe in myself. I mean, I did have confidence before, but like I said, anything's a proving ground, right? Like if you win a championship ring, you're gonna have a different feeling and a different outlook at the game to
Mm-hmm.
before that, right?
Right. Right.
Like that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just always getting better. Like when I wake up, like I don't know how to explain it, bro. Like I wake up and like I think about what I'm doing, where I'm at, what I can do, what I'm able to do, like who I'm connected with, who I can connect with. It's like that grateful feeling, but it's like it's not just being like, oh, I'm grateful for all this. It's like, damn, this is all happening to me. I need to make it fucking happen. Like, it's like finding your purpose, sort of deal. Like it's like I kind of understand my purpose now, like what I've been sent here to do, and like to fully maximize. I know it sounds like
Yeah.
super crazy
Self actualizing. Yeah.
that, but it's like, man, I know exactly to the T of like what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be helping people and like to what degree and what skill sets that I bring to the table that brings value and how I can bring value to different people. And eventually, when the capital keeps building up, how I can give back to people. Like I have that thing all the way situated in my brain to the T. Each step. And because now I realize, like, wow, this is exactly what I meant to do here. Like, to the point where I know the exact people to be around. I know exactly who to spend what time with. I know, and of course, as time goes on, I'm gonna be learning more and more. But now I have this thing where I've
Direction.
unlocked, like, not even like direction, bro. It's like I can go in whatever direction, but it's like I know my ultimate purpose to where once you figure that out and you have that drive with it, it's like this unstoppable feeling. Like I can hear, I don't want to say this, but like let's
Can
say
hear birds speak.
yeah, like not like yeah, if someone gives me bad news, like the way I'd react to it now and the perspective I would have and how I would try to reverse engineer the situation and how I can even turn a negative into a positive, I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
And how I can even see, like, it's crazy what's been for me is coming full circle with some people in my life that have like the relationships I've had with them, and now like seeing like cultivate into more and like seeing that we were like on similar journeys, like parallel journeys, and now it's like coming back to intersect and like there's a reason I'm in this person's life at this time and like you know
For sure.
and even like going even deeper dive in is like even knowing like what woman I would be with exactly. Like it goes back to like that user behavior curation. Like I can curate my whole life now.
Dude, that just might be the end of your 20s.
Like I can like curate.
Welcome to the
all this.
30s, bro.
No, and what's dope is like I'm thinking like, man, if I can just keep doubling down on this and like have this understanding and like keep reverse engineering all this shit, bro, by the time I'm 35, it's a fucking wrap. Like that's how I keep telling myself, I'm like, man, the what I'm fucking building, this digital real estate and this understanding of how people connect and like how I can bring it full circle with like ads and everything. I would say it's next level, but it's even beyond that. It's like it's kind of like understanding like, yo, this is bigger than me. Like, yeah, I have this in my brain, but this is way bigger than me. This is so much bigger than even my lifetime
For sure.
kind of deal. And like, I'm not trying to say like I'm on like a Elon Musk shit or Mark Zuckerberg shit, but I understand the level of thinking they're having, and it's I study like all these people now to the T, and it all goes back to one thing, bro. They all say the same shit. What you need is fucking killer focus. How you do get that focus, whether how many hours you work, what you do, what you don't do, it's all that. They all say the same shit. Like, yeah, your focus has to be stupid. Your focus has to be like nothing else. And like, since I've tunnel vision my focus at times, I can see that where I'm like, oh, how come I'm able to do this in 3 times the speed that I originally thought I was? Because it's like, man, my central focus on something, it's like target practice, bro. It's like I'm able to like laser focus so much that I can have a pistol in my hand, but I feel like I have a sniper rifle because my focus is that damn good.
Right.
And that's what I'm like working on, like studying different athletes, the mental side of it, right? Trying to and even like unlocking like your mental capabilities to where you can see all perspectives of people, including yourself, being able to know where in that line, what priority level your perspective is and all that. I know this sounds so crazy,
No,
but
no, it all makes sense. Yeah.
but yeah, like I is just being able to tap that, and now that I've been able to do that, and I know how to help people, and I can just see the value I can bring like that. That's what keeps me going, bro. And it's like anything I create will be able to help these people, right? Whether it's like my friends, whether it's like strangers, whether it's like people I meet all over the world, like I know how to connect them. I know how to like I said, curate. I think when I was on my trip to New York, like the friends I was with, uh, I don't know how many times we use that word. And it's because we are so on this curation train to help people where whether it's like content based, whether it's data based, whether it's anything based, that I know how to bring that value to the table, whether it's doing little things like putting a deck together, business plan, whether it's actually giving that consulting advice, whether it's brokering a deal between people, like, hey, you guys should work together, thinking of new revenue streams, who to bring on, being able to see skill sets and value in people before they see it in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a major thing with me is and I it's kind of like how I've had with music is spotting out like talent early, so it's in the same realm. So like now having uh worked with A level graphic designers, videographers, photographers, I know what the best do. I know what the medium level do, and I know what the not so good level do, right? I know how hard they go, I know how not hard they go, I know who's hungry.
You know what it looks like.
Yeah, what who's trying to be creative, who's trying to like always outdo themselves, who cares too much about the competition and not themselves, who doesn't care about the competition enough. All these different factors. And so now and I see the thing is too, I want them to see from me, oh, this is what I expect from someone who's a manager. This is what I expect someone who's a CEO, like how they handle, right? Out of my whole 4 years, I've never had to yell at anybody at all. I never had to be like, oh, you're doing this and that, because that's super ineffective. To me, it's like I take the full responsibility, right? I help them with what they're doing, and over time, they're always going to get better. And then if I feel they're not and they're not a good fit, then I'll make that move to where, we have to part ways. But I'm also seeing how it's going to benefit them. And I have a good example, like our CMO for Stroll. We had someone prior to her, it wasn't a CMO role, but if I had never let that person go, I would have never got this person. And I always think about that if I had the thing of, man, I need to, I don't know what this person's going to do. I don't know their other job. Like if I had that mentality, I would have blocked this blessing for the company. So I think it's being able to quickly maneuver, see a mistake, see something, make the change fast, and keep it pushing. But also not being an asshole about it. Like when I sat down with the person, we like, oh, I gave her recommendations where I thought she should do. I think you're good at this. I think you're good at this. So I think if you need to go to these spaces and you need me to write a recommendation, I told her for like these certain places, I'm open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you tell me to write a written recommendation for something that I know I just can't see you, doing at the moment, then I'm not gonna do it. Like, and that's just how I think too. And I've always been that one amongst friends who knows how to check, not like, yeah, like check a friend, not come off as an asshole, but come off effective for them where they can see how stern I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not coming off as an asshole because they know that, okay, Amit ultimately wants what's best for me. And it's like knowing who you can talk to like that, who also you can't talk to. It's like who's gonna be receptive, right? It's all about being receptive to the message, right? You can, and like without all the fluff. Like that's why so many people put fluff on things and then they get lost in the fluff, and it's like, okay, what was the actual message? What was the point that was trying to be made here? So
You said fluff. Our last conversation, the last podcast, fluffer came up.
mm-hmm.
The word fluffer came up, and it was pretty bad. We shouldn't have expanded on that conversation, Matty B. But yeah, man, I really see how you do have a knack. Even when we would talk, you would say things to me that I never really saw in myself,
Mm-hmm.
and you would let me know, like, you're not really, start off here, don't try and go too big too fast, right? And this is something that I wish I've been able to capitalize on, with our conversations. But man, I hold it true to my heart, and it's like it does make an effect every time we do talk. And I hope, and I'm sure, not I hope, I'm sure people definitely get that same feeling that I get when I talk to you.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just how I look at it is I just want to give value to people, and if I know I see something and I can help somebody, and if I have like certain like knowledge, like like for example, like I walked in, I immediately remember like, hey, I know how to make Gary's V style
Right.
videos.
Right.
Here's a link, right?
Sure.
Or hey, do you know that now with like Instagram you can schedule a post? Like, okay, people listening right now, they're gonna hear this and be like,
Right.
what? You can do that? But yeah, you can do that, right? There's the different apps, the different programs, back end systems that have all these full capabilities. So yeah, I think people think, oh, I don't want to share information. I used to be like that at a certain time, but now I'm like, I don't give a damn. I can give you the information. It doesn't mean you're gonna be as dope as me, or not even like that. It's a kind of thing like everybody has their own lane. Everybody's gonna, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's gonna
dude.
be effective to how they'll make it to them, right? It's not like the same experience. Like for example, if like I told you, like I'm starting to get into like long, short term
Right.
videos,
Right.
reform videos, right? And so doing that experimentation and like having that content, right? How it's gonna work for me and be effective for me is gonna be totally different than from you,
Yeah.
right? Because
For sure.
the different type of content, what message you're trying to get across, the demographic, the all these different variations.
Yeah, man. And before I started the podcast, I was so afraid to share with people that I was developing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And the idea was in the brain, and by slowly buying all the gear, like over the year, I was just like, what's going on? Just
Yeah.
sports and work, and just kind of
Uh-huh.
like keeping it to myself. And the more and more I started to learn more about podcasts and doing podcasting, the more I understood, like, you cannot recreate you, and no one's gonna recreate you. So it's either you hold all the information to yourself, and not share the wealth, and become like a Mr. Scrooge, right? Or can share the wealth of information and become you and sort of uh not worry about whether people are going to do exactly the same thing as you. Who cares? It's not you,
Yeah, you gotta.
right?
You
You
just have.
be the best version of your own
Mhm.
self, and maybe someone will try and be the best version of you, but as long as you keep on becoming the best version of yourself, they'll never become
Because you're the only
what you
person who
are.
can tap that. Is
Right.
like tap into that is yourself, and it's like you're saying, and I think it's also seeing. You know what I think that the where you got like the not like saying light bulb, but where like you got that understanding was, you know what, I'm gonna always keep improving. So yeah, like today, I don't know what I know tomorrow, but when tomorrow comes, I'm gonna know it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna keep getting better, and I'm gonna learn from my mistakes, and I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna leave my pride and ego to the side and really analyze my podcast, like what works well, what doesn't work well, what do people fuck with, what do people not
For
fuck
sure,
with.
man, dude. And I've done different kinds of music. I've done different styles of opening the show. I've done like not opening the show and just letting the show happen. I've done all kinds of different stuff, and it's um it's not something that you can necessarily teach to people. I mean, all the experiences that you've had with Stroll, you cannot necessarily be like, yeah, this is what you're gonna go through, and this is how you're gonna handle it. It's like, no, you're gonna go through. You may run into this, or you may not run into this.
Yeah, struggle builds character,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure, dude. And
Struggle, like that's why most of the people, who are successful, I mean, not even most, everyone who's successful, you have to go through some level of struggle because you need to know, like, like with me, I think being a audio engineer, music producer, having spent so many hours in the studio solo, I think it's helped me with being an entrepreneur because if I have to sit and like do something for hours, it doesn't phase me because it's like, hey, I've this is not my first rodeo.
right,
You get what I'm saying? I know how this feels. Whereas maybe if I didn't have that experience, right, and I hopped into more of the corporate world from the jump,
yeah,
then maybe yeah, I'd have a different mindset, right? Because I'd have a whole different user behavior
for sure,
around it based on my environment,
for
right? And I
sure.
think that's the main thing is to curate what you want. The biggest thing is your environment, and the number one thing too is I always talk about this with you, and I always say it's difficult on Guam because of like how small of a place we live, but it's really whoever you spend your time with, man. That is such the determining factor. And like everybody, what's crazy is everybody wants to bypass that fact. Everybody wants to go like, yeah, I have these people, but these group of friends, but but it's like,
And it might not be your boys, right?
yeah, and it's what it is. It's that yeah, but mentality, bro. Once you take that
Yeah,
shit out of
but
your
you know, we've
brain,
been friends since we were kids, but he just doesn't want to do anything with his life.
yeah, and it's like a yeah, but mentality, and it's knowing what distance to keep people, and it's a nothing of a disrespectful thing, but it's knowing like what you need to accomplish, what people you need around you, and like I like just watched this video today, and it was like this topic came up, and the big thing was how many of your friends would you want your kids to be like,
Mm.
and that shit was like damn light bulb moment because it's like once you look at it from that perspective, it changes, right?
Yeah,
It's like not saying like, oh, I would want my kid to be, I mean, of course,
yeah.
people want the kids to be angels.
Don't hang out with Uncle Eric, okay?
Yeah, like, yeah, that that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's really so big. Like with me, I only spend time, like quality amount of time with people that I want to give that time to.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just, and people even ask me like, Ahmed, you're going to travel like this and that, and I'm like, yeah, because on weekends, like I go hard for like 30 to 45 days and I dip. So it's like, do I expect you to do what I do in 30 days?
Are you
I
mostly a solitary being? Like being a
I think you have to be at some level of an introvert to do this shit. At this level, you have to be. You have to be. I'm not saying like you always have to be and you can't be around people ever, but you have to have a comfortability to be by yourself and understand things and enjoy, like, I wouldn't say like your own company, but like it's like you see yourself from a third person perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So like when it's not like you're talking to yourself, but you're just tapping into yourself. So it's like, I know how to be in a crowd. I know how to be not in a crowd. I know how to handle a one-on-one conversation. You know, I know how to handle like a group meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, I know how to be solo too. And so I think being able to move like that is critical, because if you always have to be around the masses of people, you're not gonna be able to get shit done. There's so many things to get done. You have to do it on your own.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You have to. Where, damn, I need to put 2 hours today to knock out this deck, to make this PDF, to put these posts together
Right.
for the podcast. To
But I got a birthday party to attend.
yeah, and see see now what I do is I do both. I'm the type like actually like after today, like after this,
Yeah.
like while we were sitting here, I just got a proposal for this opportunity, and I know that after this I'm gonna have to like sit at home, map it out, and it's gonna take me like 2 to 3 hours. So like I've accepted already, you know, I'm gonna be sleeping late, and then I'm still gonna wake up. You know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
I don't
For
know how to
sure.
explain it. It's just doing it.
For sure, man. I mean, most of us who work 9 to 5s, we won't understand that, you know, when we work 9 to 5, that's what we're allotted. That's what we, in our minds, our time is allotted to work, right?
But you have
You
so
get
much free time though after
right,
5 o'clock, like
right,
bro,
right,
from
right.
like 5 to
For
10.
sure.
You know how Gary Vee says till midnight?
Yeah.
Not even then, bro. Imagine just 5 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I'm gonna say I would give you time to eat dinner. Let's say you'll have dinner at 8, okay, around that time, and then like 9 o'clock, do your little unwind, whatever, and then
Yeah.
knock out. That 5 to 8 o'clock, bro. That time for me is so fucking important, bro, because everything is winding down. This is when I can really go in depth with shit. And the only other time I can really tap in like that and have that same like kind of level of tranquility, because like people are in a rush of like commuting, figuring it out, whatever, the evening, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I take advantage of that time. Just like now, uh I love waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, bro, 5 a.m., like 4 a.m., and just sitting outside and running plays from my phone and contacting my contacts in like the States, and like just being able to be like, man, this is so crazy. I'm running a play in LA. I'm not even there. I'm running a play in New York. I'm not even there. You know, oh, I'm connecting Thailand and New York right now. I'm not even there. And so it just like tells me like it's just focus, bro. It's just like waking up and feeling like I'm unstoppable, right? And it's like proving it though, right? And like being unstoppable doesn't mean being invincible.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. It's like unstoppable. Yeah, like there's certain times I might have a roadblock, but you ain't gonna stop me. I might have a delay, but you're not gonna stop me. That's the difference. Is people. That's why if I come across people and they're like, yeah, you know, I was gonna do this, but you know, and they're always looking for the reason not to, I stay away, bro, because it's gonna feed onto me. Just like how my good energy is gonna feed onto people, it's the same thing. If I'm around people who don't want to do shit all day, eventually I'm not gonna do shit all day.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around it.
Right. Matt, how long have we been going here? It's good, man. Dude, I think the evolution of Stroll and the ideas that you have and the things that you have shared with me offline, of course, and you're right, man. It's gonna be a powerhouse. You know? You're bound to become a powerhouse, and unless somebody's creating something that we don't know about.
Even at that, bro, my only competition is myself.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, that's what a lot of companies fuck up on, bro. Don't look at the competition. Like, yeah, like know them, know what they're doing, but don't give a fuck that much, because it's not them. It's you. It's your product. It's what you bring to the table, and letting the customer make the ultimate decision of who to fuck with. And it's not always based on a price point either.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, most of the time, it is what's the cheapest option, but that's not always the basis of a sale, right? You might want like good example when it comes to audio equipment. I'm not gonna buy the cheapest shit just because of my understanding and knowing what I want. But maybe as an average person, I want earphones. I'll buy the cheapest ones.
Right.
Whereas I'm looking for, no, I need this sound quality. I need this. I need that. Right.
Right. Because even people would go minimum value product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they can do to make do. And then, I mean, that's the way this podcast started, right? We started with just
And some people,
a couple mics.
yeah,
right?
some people save in certain things. Some
Yeah.
people spend in certain things. Like with me, like anybody who knows me, like I'm really bougie with my water. Like I like to drink.
Good water.
Yeah.
You know, like that tap shit.
No, bro. Like, and
I'm a
like,
tap water baby.
I'm just, I'm like the type, like, put it like this way, bro. I like
sides are calcified, right?
bro,
now.
I like Fiji water so much that if I meet the CEO of Fiji water and like I can have, you know, that 5-gallon Fiji water in my office, oh, bro, I'll feel like the man. I'll feel like you don't got this. You don't got that 5-gallon Fiji, bro. Like, you know, that you would get at a store and it's like in the shape of the bottle. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. Like, you know, I like to spend on traveling. Like, and when I go off island, I wouldn't say I splurge, but I definitely enjoy myself to the fullest.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, so it's like it's just all about that. There's some people who are like, you know what? I need at least at least one Friday of the month to where I go out with my friends. If that's what, you know what I mean? It's all self-awareness, man. It's knowing what you want. And I just see for myself, I want some grand shit. And I know to get the grand shit, my hustle got to be grand as well, right? It's just, you know, it's all about what you want. You got to get it how you live.
right. Let's cut out of here, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's already 10. Oh, my goodness. Anything you want to put out there?
Yeah. Lastly, I just want to say, you know, I appreciate this opportunity as always, bro, man.
Of course, bro. Of course.
Always love like coming here and, you know, sitting down with you and chopping it up and
Well, shit,
bring any value to the table.
You always bring value, high value.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we got food delivery coming. We have, you know, our address platform is killing it. Look out for more announcements from me on like other moves. This next move I really want to announce soon, but you know, I just gotta take care of some like little details around it. And yeah, we're just, you know, I always say like a year from now, if you thought, like I always tell people, if you think I'm doing crazy shit now, this ain't shit yet. Like it's going next level, and like I'm tapping into everything. And so yeah, there's food delivery, rewards, air miles, grocery delivery. You know,
I like the rewards. I really do, because not a lot of people do rewards here on that level.
Because I don't, you know what it is? I think it's looking at it like only from a dollar perspective on things. In today's world with the getting sales, it's not effective. It's okay, I'm gonna bring you value X and you're gonna pay me in X dollars because I'm bringing you X amount of value. And like everyone is just at the table now and everyone wants to bring value. So it's like, who can ever build that platform that brings the best value at an individual curated level will achieve their goals.
Yeah. It's badass, bro. Yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, fuck, what if Amit comes out with his own like PayPal credit card?
Oh no, so actually to leave on that, we are actually working on Stroll Pay.
Okay.
It's a digital e-wallet.
Nice.
To where you can
Holy fuck.
It's even for like what I call the underbanked. Not the no bank, but the underbanked. So put it like this way. You can go to a mom and pop store or a gas station. You have your phone. You give them cash. They scan on the credit to your phone. Now you can make digital payments without having a bank account.
Right. You can reload.
And then that way, we can even make it to where that's how you can do bill payment. You pay your bills in cash? No problem. You go to the store, give them the cash. They scan the credit onto your phone, and then with that credit, you can pay your bills.
It's dope. Yeah, dude. I mean, in all that talk, that's what it culminated to. And then I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, you know, and then you combine that with the rewards.
Right. And all of a sudden, you have a United Club Pass.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like ultimately what I see with Stroll Pay is I want to make one digital currency for the Pacific. So like all our islands, like how we'll be able to like really advance our economies is if I can go anywhere in the Pacific and have one currency. Because like what I'll see with like Europe and how it affected with them, I think it'd be really good with us. And the best part is it's like we'll still be using the dollar, we'll still be using like all the other currencies.
Yeah, I mean, look at Japan and their Suica card, right? Or Korea and their Octo card, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
You
But
can use it for the train. You can use it for the vending machines. You can basically use it everywhere.
yeah, and then what will happen is with Stroll Pay, we want it to where we'll have an AI come in and start helping you financially plan.
I'm glad you're doing it, man, because I can't wrap my brain around that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand it, but
it's like
actually,
crazy. You know, it's
like
crazy how like
implementing-
they all
right,
connect. You know
right,
what I'm
like
saying?
implementing it and just the development of our conversation. You know, I was like, fuck, you can literally control the way money moves here, right?
And help people with it.
Help
like,
people with it.
Yeah.
Right.
If I can say
Right.
like, hey, let me help your spending. Like, you know what? You spend way too much in the beginning of the month.
Right.
Next month, try spending only X amount on the first week. Like, and so now we're developing habits, right? And if I know I'm helping someone with spending and, you know, they're going to order food, it's like that. I'm giving you value so many ways. It's like, how you're not going to fuck with me.
For sure. My brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, bro. As always, it's awesome getting you on the show and talking, but also just picking your brain, dude. Even when we're not
bro.
talking on the podcast.
I'll be back soon, man.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you and your next evolution.
Oh yeah, bro. I appreciate it.
It's always a level up. Seems like every time we talk, and I always bring that up. I'm always gonna bring that up because it really is, dude.
Yeah.
So, thank you. And Matt, anything to say? Any final words? No, just breathe. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of the podcast with Amit Sachdev.
Thank you, guys.
Until next time, peace out. Hey, guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the podcast with Amit Sachdev. Constantly evolving, and that's why I love talking to this guy. Love picking his brain. Special shout outs to Budweiser. Enjoy responsibly and drink wiser. To Payless One, your one stop for organic and natural products and education. Don't forget to support us on Patreon. Don't forget to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps. And you know what? Just be good to everybody. That's all. See ya.